Welcome to video presentation of assignment 1. I'm Lu Zheng Yan and Irfan Nasrin Akbar is my team members. The first construction activity that I will present is about welding. Welding is a fabrication process where two or more parts are fused together by means of heat, pressure, and the welded joint is called weldment. Weldment is usually used on metals, thermoplastics, and on wood. And current new trend is it is used to create artwork by a growing community of artists. They are also used for a range of industries such as automotive, energy, and also constructions. The most commonly used welding is shielded metal arc welding. It is classified into manual and auto. In recent years, there is also laser arc hybrid type invented. In this table, it can be seen that the shielding gas consumption is the lowest among all these welding, and the welding speed is the fastest in the hybrid. And the number of passes is only 2 to make one joint, so the whole efficiency is faster. But it also produces just 0.6 gram of welding film compared to other type of welding, so it really causes less environmental impact. The environmental impacts of welding is classified into acidification, eutrophication, global warming, and photochemical ozone creation. It is because during welding process, the byproducts are sulfur dioxide, phosphate ions, carbon dioxide, and ethene, which is dissociate into ozone gas ion. In this table, we can clearly see that manual type of welding produces many bad impact to the environment, while for laser arc hybrid type, it is comparatively lower impacts in all type of welding. After discussing about the impact, the laser arc hybrid also comes with some drawback because it consumes higher power, which can cause more electricity, but it has the highest efficiency with least number of passes with melted material and overall weld volume. While for manual type, it is slow and causes slow productivity line. And it also consumes more material and electricity per meter, and it discharges more fuel with close working distance. It also consumes titanium dioxide for coating material, which contribute to high impact in acidification and eutrophication. How to minimize the environmental impacts? Specifically in welding, we can adjust the manual type coating composition to reduce the consumption of material and energy. We can also use a better process such as laser arc hybrid type for a higher work efficiency. We can also use brazing by melting the filler material instead of the metal itself at the weldment. In general construction waste, we can donate, recycle the non-hazardous construction waste and landfilling from all the construction waste in road work, renovation, and site clearance. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Arifan Muhammad Sukri. Today I would like to present to you about roofing construction. What is roofing? Roofing is an assembly of roof to provide cover for buildings and recreational areas. Roof is constructed to provide the protection against weather conditions, structural support for superimposed loads, and suppresses the fire spread. Environmental effects of roofing materials. The environmental effect that caused by roofing depends on the materials used. For example, the asphalt shingles, which is a petroleum product that can produce greenhouse gases during its manufacture, can cause air pollution. As a material that is highly demanded, the amount of fossil fuel needed to be dig from our earth is needed increase. Therefore, it will cause a lot more endangered aquatic life. Furthermore, after a certain time, the roof starts to decay and causing problems such as leaking. This is because the life cycle of the roof is reaching its end and the asphalt shingle need to be replaced. Because of the asphalt shingles is a non-renewable waste, it will end up in the landfills and causing the higher total amount of landfills need to be created annually increase. Other than that, wood shingles has about 30 years lifespan. Even though it's better and longer than asphalt shingles, it requires wood as the main resources. Therefore, deforestation will be increased to get the timber and causing the climate change, landslide and flood. Moreover, the wood shingles requires a lot of maintenance since it is easy for moss to grow and retain moisture. In Malaysia, there is only 2 seasons, wet and hot season. Therefore, it cannot withstand the moisture and the high temperature if it not coated using the preservation. The preservatives that used for coating is it can provide more environmental effect during its manufacture also. Alternative way to eliminate environmental impacts. The natural slate shingles is the most environmentally friendly because it has less carbon footprint since it requires less energy to manufacture compared to the ceramic tiles and zinc, which is the ceramic tiles requires high temperature and zinc consumes a lot of electrical energy to manufacture it. It is also weather resistant and requires less maintenance and can last for generation. Other than that, using the metal shingles can last the amount of landfill because it can be recycled when it is replaced or destroyed. Therefore, it is durable and lasts longer based on its metal variation. Concrete tile is considered most affordable and less costly because it can be manufactured a lot of size and shape. It is also eco-friendly material that requires less replacement and reduces energy consumption because they are made of recyclable materials such as soil, rocks and granite. Other than that, using the green roof or rooftop garden in high-rise buildings can reduce the heat island temperature during day, especially in the city, and provide more fresh air in the city and reduces the carbon dioxide gases in the city that been released into the atmosphere. I think that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you Akmal. Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Muhammad Nazim Fahmi from JP and today I will continue the presentation. As the other group member said, that construction could lead to many environmental impact, and one of the activities that can cause the impact is also excavation. And today I will explain a little bit about the impact of excavation towards environment. The first and the most obvious impact of excavation to the environment is dust pollution. Excavation clears the forest, and if the soil is dry type soil, the dust that produced during the excavation can cause air pollution and can greatly impact the environment and the living beings there. Okay, the next impact of excavation towards the environment is the clearing of forests or deforestation. Excavation clears the forest, making the wildlife there to lose their habitats and can cause the wildlife to intrude the nearby city, which is dangerous for both the animal and human. Okay, for the last impact, we know that machine operates using fuel and will produce loud sounds, and fuel will cause air pollution, and the loud sounds that the machinery produce will produce sound pollution. Excavation machine operates using fuel that would produce smokes and cause air pollution, and the heavy machinery causes sound pollution as it operates to the environment and hence obtaining the sound pollution. Okay, so I have explained all the 3 impacts of excavation towards the environment, and here is the efforts that can be done to minimize the impact. The first effort is to limit the fuel usage. The second one is when excavating dry soil, we can enclose the area using canopy. And the last is limit the amount of forest cleared to a minimum according to plan and do not deforest more than it should be. Okay, for the limit the fuel usage one, the first part is time of the machine being idle should be reduced as much as possible to limit the usage and emission of smokes from the machine. Secondly, a greener source of fuel can also be used as an alternative. And lastly, we can use hybrid machine and equipment. All of this can limit the fuel usage, hence limiting the smoke production from the excavation machine. Okay, for the second effort, a closed area with canopy when excavating dry soil. A canopy can be set up during the excavation of dry soil to limit the spreading of dust to the surroundings, making the air pollution to be less, and when the excavation is done, wait until the dust settles before disassembling the canopy to maximize the effectiveness. This can reduce greatly of the dust pollution and affect the environment in a positive way. Okay, for the last effort that can be done is limit the amount of forest cleared to minimum as to site plan and replant trees along the construction site. The amount of forest cleared is minimized according to the minimum range of safety between sites and forests. What do I mean by this is when the site is far enough from the trees, the further forest should not be cleared as well as to minimize the amount of deforestation. And after the construction is done, the tree should be replanted where it can be grown and maximize the numbers of trees near the building, as it also gives a positive effect, which can maintain the temperature of the building. Okay, thank you. That's all from me. I will now pass it to Irfan.
Concreting activities in construction. The definition of concreting is the composite of material composed of fine and coarse aggregate bonded together with a fluid cement that hardens over time. There are several negative impacts of concreting to the environment, such as greenhouse gas emission, leading to 8% global emission, widespread illegal sand mining, increased surface runoff, urban heat island effect, and lastly, potential public health implications. The negative impact of greenhouse gas emission. Cement industry is one of the two largest producers. Cement industry creating up to 8% of worldwide man-made emission of carbon dioxide. The concrete production is directly proportional to the cement content. Lastly, combustion of fossil fuel producing lime and carbon dioxide contribute to greenhouse gas. This is the solution to minimize the greenhouse gas emission. By reducing cement clinker have positive effect on environmental life cycle assessment of concrete, efficient use of cement and reactive material like slag and fly ash in concrete. A precast concrete facade can be reduced by 50% when using the presented fiber reinforced high performance concrete. The second disadvantage of concreting is urban heat. Concrete and asphalt are the primary contributor to urban heat island effect. 55% of the world's population reside in urban areas. Monthly rainfall is greater downwind of cities partially due to urban heat, lack of evapotranspiration with decrease of vegetation, low shade, and evaporative cooling effect of tree. The ways to minimize the environmental impact of urban heat is by using high albedo pavements can reduce the flow of heat into the urban environment. High albedo tend to lose reflectance, while those with low initial albedo may gain reflectance. In winter, may disadvantage as ice will form easily and remain longer on light color surface as less energy absorbed. Last but not least, the negative impact of concreting is concrete dust. Grinding of concrete can produce hazardous dust. Building demolition often releases a large amount of concrete dust into the local atmosphere. Exposure to cement dust can lead to skin irritation and silicosis. Concrete dust to be major source of air pollution. In this slide, we can learn to minimize the concrete dust towards the environment impact by attaching local exhaust ventilation shroud to electric concrete grinders to control the spread of this dust, Restrict the amount of breathable crystalline silica worker can legally come into contact with 50 microgram per cubic meter of air per 8-hour workday. Fresh concrete is highly alkaline and must be handled with proper protective equipment.